how to make my mini Victoria sponge cakes, the perfect afternoon tea treat. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today I thought I'd make a little twist, or rather a mini twist, on an absolute classic sponge, which is the mini Victoria sponge cakes. These are such a cute little bake and they're perfect for afternoon teas, perfect for occasions, perfect for something a little bit different if you want a sweet treat. And it's just a simple sponge, simple buttercream, jam, but they look really, really cute and they're quite a lot of fun. So I thought I'd make them for you today. And they're definitely one of the things that people like to make. So I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I do. So whenever you're making a Victoria sponge, there's a really simple rule of making sure that your butter, flour, sugar and eggs have an equal weight. The rule to this is making sure you weigh your eggs in their shells. For example, eggs in the UK at least, they vary in sizes. You get mixed weight, medium, large, occasionally you get small, but the best trick is to weigh them in their shells to try and match near enough for this recipe to 200 grams. Say for example, my eggs came in at 198 grams, I then make my butter, flour and sugar 198 grams as well, and this is going to lead to the perfect recipe for the sponge. Make sure to not overmix it, add a little bit of vanilla extract as always, but this is optional, and it will create the perfect texture for a really light, fluffy and delicious sponge cake. I'm just going to start by adding my butter into a bowl, then I'm going to add my caster sugar, and then we're just going to mix these together until creamy. Once the butter and sugar have been beaten together, I then pour in my eggs and add my flour and mix until smooth. And then I just add a little bit of vanilla. And there you have your cake mix. Once your cake mix is ready, it's going to be lovely and thick like always, so you have to prep your tin. This typically you'd make sure is ready before, but it's going to take seconds to do. But either way, this is a 12-hole loose bottomed cake tin. It's quite a mouthful if I'm being honest, so sorry about that, but either way, 12-hole loose bottomed cake tin. It arrives as basically each one has a little mini disc on the bottom, just like a normal loose bottom cake tin, but obviously 12 mini holes. If you don't have this tin, you can use cupcake cases or a muffin sort of tin or something like that, but typically that will have slanted edges, so it might sort of change the look of the end product. But either way, these work really well. And then the best way to prep this is I cut out, it's a little bit faffy, but 12 mini pieces of parchment, just a rough sort of shape, just to put on the bottom. I grease it slightly with a sort of a calorie spray like the oil ones, which I'll do in a second, but that just sticks that down to the bottom, sort of sprays the edge a little bit, and then you can add your cupcake mix. I do this with a 5cm scoop just because it's easier, it portions it well. I will link this in the description box because it's quite a unique tin if you don't have it already. But as I say, any questions about this, as always, leave them in the comments below. But either way, I'm just going to prep my tin. So once they're ready, I bake in my preheated oven, which is always about 160 fan. It depends on your oven, you'll know it if you know it. You can get an oven thermometer if you're unsure, but you'll find the best spot for your oven to bake a cake. Either way, 160 fan for me. If you worry about the cupcakes peaking too much and creating a bit more of a dome, you can bake them at a lower temperature of 140 fan, but this takes about 35 to 40 minutes instead. But either way, it'll bake a lower, slower and like more even bake. So it's up to you which one you choose. But either way, I'm going to bake these now at 160 fan for about 20 to 22 minutes. And then I'm going to leave them to cool fully in the tin before starting our decoration. So now that my sponges have baked and cooled, you can see them just pretty level, absolutely delicious, and they can just pop out of the tin like so. And they've got the little bit of paper on the bottom, but just cute little cakes. So I thought we'd crack on with the decoration. Typically with a Victoria sponge, it can be fresh cream and fruit, but because I like these to last a bit longer and I don't want them to go in the fridge, I use a simple vanilla buttercream frosting. But obviously, if you want to use freshly whipped cream, you can. That's entirely up to you, especially if you're going to eat them fresh on an afternoon tea. But this is just a simple buttercream frosting of unsalted block butter, icing sugar and a little bit of vanilla extract mixed together to a light, just delicious and smooth buttercream, and then we can decorate them in a bit. I'm just going to start by adding my room temperature butter to my bowl. Then I'm just going to beat the butter on its own until smooth. Now that my butter has been beaten, I'm going to start adding my icing sugar. Now I'm just going to add my vanilla and mix. And there you have your vanilla buttercream frosting. So when the cakes are ready and you've made the decoration, you just need to take them out of the tin. So I just pop the bottom up slightly, take off a little bit of paper, and then gently with a sharp knife, I'll just cut them in half like so, so you're ready to do your filling. So once your cakes have been prepped, I'm just going to add my buttercream to a large piping bag, and I snip off the end and then decorate. I do the same with the jam that I've got here, just in a piping bag, I'll snip off the end, and then you're easily decorating some cute cakes just as much as you want. But of course you can just slather the frosting on right now, you don't have to pipe it like I am, but either way, just add it to a piping bag. And then finally, I'm just going to give them a little white chocolate drizzle and a sprinkle with some freeze-dried raspberries. So that is how you make my mini Victoria sandwiches. They're just cute little bakes, perfect for afternoon tea, a little picnic, anything you fancy. But either way, have a look at the recipe in the description box. The full blog post link will be there as well. Any useful bits that I've used throughout the video. And of course, make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and come back next time for something absolutely tasty as always.